GM, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Wealth Wednesday. Another beautiful day. Get some work done, make progress towards our dreams, make a difference out in the world. Yeah, buddy. All right. So we are getting ready to launch our next challenge. One of the details about that is that you must have completed the fix and flip challenge or first flip challenge. Sorry. First flip challenge. I know a lot of people, it's not going to be your first, but that's what we called it. And anyway, once you finish that, we got the next thing for you. So that's going to be launching this week. It's going to be awesome. And the main premise behind that is how to make $50,000 a month. So we're going to get to work on that. And those of you who qualify for it, you've got the invitations. And those of you who are thinking about it and you want to play, join us for the next flip challenge. And then after that, we'll come into the marketing challenge and watch your results explode. Sweet. Okay, let's update this here. Boop, boop. And in case you guys missed it, Mr. Gavin McCaleb was on the Invest Edge this week with Mr. Snyder. So check out the interview, the Q&A, everything that they put together for that on Snyder's Invest Edge channel. And quick shout out to the top 10 ICMs. Well done. We got Chris and Linda and Michael, Melinda, Cade, Vivian, Kryn, Richard, and Ryan Dodge. Man, that guy is awesome. Good job, Ryan. And of course, Mitch and Maley in the number one position. It just keeps rolling. So if you haven't watched the foreclosure class, then definitely go do it. They just updated it, and there is, I'm going to say unfortunately, it's fortunate for us as investors because we understand the strategy, but it's unfortunate that a lot of people are severely delinquent on their debts. We've actually hit the highest number of 90-day delinquents on credit cards in the last 15 years was this month. So there's a lot of delinquencies. And we can fix that in two ways. One, we can buy their houses out of foreclosure that they weren't able to afford. Or two, we can introduce them to the Renatus program and then get financially fit, turn it around, and never be in that mess again. Quote of the day: what we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Yep. I feel it. I feel it. Yeah, it happens to me too. But we got to do it anyway. Need to do. And for a lot of you, it's going to be the marketing side. Real estate's easy. There will be a point in your life where marketing can be easy too, but you got to go through that process. One thing that helps us do that is confidence. Confidence in personal initiative. So we are going to bring up the self-confidence formula because we are in the habit of creating good habits. There we go. Share. No, this one. Oh, there we go. All right, perfect. Self-confidence formula. Teach us to your kids, teach us to your neighbor. Make sure your new students know about it too. All right, first, I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here now promise to render such action. Second, I understand that the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. Third, I know through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object or position I desire. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim, and I will always work until I develop sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Fifth, I fully realize that wealth or position can long endure when built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage only in transactions that benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve them. I have eliminated hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism, and I've developed a love for all of humanity, for I know that a positive attitude towards others will always bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day in full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions, so I will become a self-reliant and successful person. GM to that. And good morning to everyone who just joined us. Michael and Scarlett and Heidi and Ben, Teresa, Deborah, Mac, great to see you all. Lisa and Steve. Let's talk about initiative and leadership real quick because, man, oh man, it is lacking in this world. One of the fastest ways to get ahead is initiative and leadership. Let's go. Having chosen a definite chief aim as my life work, I now understand it to be my duty to transform this purpose into reality. Therefore, I will form the habit of taking some definite action each day that will carry me one step near the attainment of my definite chief aim. I know that procrastination is a deadly enemy of all who would become leaders in any undertaking, and I will eliminate this habit from my makeup by doing some one definite thing each day that ought to be done without being told to do it. Looking around until I find at least one thing I can do each day that I've not been in the habit of doing and will be of value to others without expectation of pay. And telling at least one other person each day of the value of practicing this habit of doing something that ought to be done without being told to do it. I can see that the muscles of the body become strong in proportion to the extent in which they are used. Therefore, I understand that the habit of initiative also becomes fixed in proportion to the extent that it is practiced. I realize that the place to begin developing the habit of initiative is in the small commonplace things connected with my daily work. Therefore, I will go at my work each day as if I were doing it solely for the purpose of developing this necessary habit of initiative. I understand that by practicing this habit of taking on the initiative in connection with my daily work, I will not only be developing that habit, but I will also be attracting the attention of those who will place greater value on my services as a result of this practice. Boom. GM. Gotta love it. This is what makes the difference. Working on yourself. Sweet. Yep. Okay, GM. Some more people join us. Good morning, good morning. Okay. And I want to give a big shout out to the Idaho team. Last night had a fantastic event. And where is it? Yep. I know Richard did some stuff too. Yeah, sweet. Okay. We got some property tours tonight. We got the English and the Spanish property tours in Utah, so definitely build for those, bring a guest, and show up early and stay late. There's also a Super Saturday with Richard this Saturday, and then, of course, we got our property tours with Scott and Umair next Saturday morning. What a fantastic place to plug your people into. Okay, every single day. There's something to do, something to play, something to participate in, something to grow, something to develop and achieve. Oh, yeah. And tomorrow is the iOS training with Jenna Hoover. If you have not been on this training with her, I was blown away last time I was on. It had been a while since I was on and saw what she was doing. Why is there a picture of Matt on here? It's funny. It's with Jenna Hoover. And learning about the Renatus iOS AI portion of what's happening and how people are being able to leverage this kind of information and being able to find deals that that you don't even know are available. Like, you know how there's so much data being brokered around our lives right now that there's stories about like guys who start receiving mail advertisements about baby clothes and baby carriages and the guy's sitting there going, why on earth am I getting these ads? I don't have a baby. And then a week later, his wife tells him, oh, we're pregnant. Target and Walmart and Google and YouTube knew that that guy's wife was pregnant before he knew. I'm telling you that the data is out there, and it's the same thing when it comes to foreclosures, to delinquencies, to tax defaults. There's a ton of leading indicators there that are now inside of our iOS platform that are going to show you should probably reach out to these people. They're going to be either extremely motivated this week or next and get ahead of the curve. Don't wait till they hit the NOD list or the default list or the delinquent list. Hit them up beforehand. And you can learn how to do that tomorrow on the training. So be sure to register for that inside of your back office, your Helios dashboard, if you will. Yep. Right there on the calendar. Big blue square right there. So 3 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Awesome. Okay, well, let's get into this next portion of our show, talking about Wealth Wednesday and making a difference for people. The recurring theme here is that all wealth is created through conversations, not through hope and wishes. In fact, Napoleon Hill wrote a book called Wishes Don't Bring You Riches. It's work, it's conversations, it's networking and connections. And one of the best is here with us today to teach us how to do that, how he's sharpening the axe, so to speak, and getting more done in less time while having fun and making friends. And that is our trainer, Mr. Daine Clark. He got his start here with Renatus. That's one thing I love about our instructors and our trainers inside this organization is that they're so good. The training is so good that we can take a random person off the street, put them in the training, and 5-10 years later, they're worth mega millions. They've developed systems and they're helping hundreds, if not thousands of people copy them and do the same thing. It's a world of abundance. Daine is a fantastic example of that. In addition to his real estate, he's also a fantastic public speaker. He goes around multiple states and trains our teams. And we're very grateful to have him as a part of this organization, a huge resource for helping people get deals across the finish line and literally change their lives like they've never seen before. And that's what happened to him. And he continues to pay that forward in an amazing way. One way to show that you love and appreciate people like Daine, like Bill, like Tamara, like these other people, Umair, that are running these workshops, is to bring guests, to introduce new people to the program, enroll them in the system, and help them get the benefits as well. It's a great way to show your love and gratitude. So let's show some love and gratitude to our trainer for the day, Wealth Wednesday, Mr. Daine Clark. GM.
Hey, what's up, guys? Looks like my audio is working great.
Yes, sir. Can
Okay.
hear you loud and clear.
How is everybody doing? GM.
GM. Yeah, dude. Exciting day. The Federal Reserve chair meeting is today. They're releasing the rate decision in about 3.5 hours. And so I'll be watching it live. This will be interesting.
Yes, very interesting. But
So
no matter what,
does anyone want to
money
make
to be made.
bets?
What's that?
Right. Does anyone want to make any bets about there'll be no rate cut, there'll be one rate cut, or there'll be 2 rate cuts? Didn't want to put their guess in the chat. No need to actually make a real bet where we got plenty of money flowing. It's I'm just curious. What you guys think? If you've been paying attention to it or not? If they drop it, the refis are going to go nuts.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yes.
ready.
Awesome, Gilda. Love it.
It might push values though too. So I wonder if they're kind of taking that into account. Like maybe we drop it just a teeny bit.
Right, because it's going to make a $600,000 house all of a sudden a 750 house.
hmm And so it'll be
And
like, who cares? Like, didn't change anything.
yeah, it's still astronomical. So Tim is voting. He's predicting a quarter rate cut, and Gilda is saying
Yeah,
half a percent.
affordability at all-time low.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
All the more reason to market Renatus and get more people into the program.
Just make more money.
Yeah,
Like we don't necessarily have the control or ability to control what these guys are doing at this point. We've kind of allowed our voting to, and when I say we, for the last 100 years, voting has allowed what is currently happening to be happening. So there's not a lot we can do at this point in the short term. And so just decide I'll make money anyway.
exactly. Yep, exactly. Going back to, the pre-election times when we were talking about it doesn't matter which president we get in, we're still going to make money. We're still going to follow
hmm
the principles and we're going to do the right thing the right way. And yeah, so it's working. What adventures have you been on in the last week, Daine? New classes you're taking, a book you're reading, a deal you're working on? Give us an update and then we'll switch into Q&A.
Yeah. So I just got back. I think I was telling this story yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on this call, but just got title report back last night on that house that I'm guessing is worth at least $1 million that somebody has a lease option to buy out and for let's see, 585. And so yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but we'll see. We'll see if there's any, in fact, here, let's see if there's any major things that are going to become like crap, maybe this isn't a deal. People like to see that kind of stuff, right?
Definitely.
Let's see, exceptions. If I hear, I'll share my screen. Anybody look at title reports? Commitments, title commitments?
You have to. You got to know how to
Yeah.
read.
Yeah, if you don't know how to read one of these, get familiar. Let's see, how do I think if I just go to mail, you should be able to see this. So hello, title report. And I think oh, you probably can't see this. Oh wait, I think if I go like this, you can see it. If I just do the peaksy, move this over here. You guys see that okay?
Yes.
So I to 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 get used to these, here, let's see. I usually just go straight to the thing that says exceptions. So this is the thing that you got to watch out for when you're buying a house. The title company basically will say, hey, here's the title commitment or title insurance, if you will. And I just scroll immediately to exceptions. What's not covered in your title insurance? Most of the time, you're going to see all this kind of stuff here, where it's just like facts, rights, interest, claims that are not shown on public record. Basically just like let's call this templated legal jargon that every single one of these has. But I like to go to the bottom of that list. Ooh, there's a lot of these.
Yep.
So let's see, to the bottom of the list
Just
and
keeps
start
going.
from the bottom. What's that? Yeah,
That's
this
a
one's
lot.
got a lot.
31. 31. That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so companies, yeah, so this is legal thing. I'm looking for dollar signs for the most part. Company has no liability under this current. All right, certificate of creation, school district, cool. I don't really care about that. Notice of reinvestment fee. Oh, this is an HOA. So the HOA might be the reason that um, this has a few extras because HOAs oftentimes have a whole bunch of their own things. All right, here we go. I see dollar signs. So we have Number 25, all-inclusive trust deed with amended all-inclusive trust deed. Looks like it started at 480 and it is now currently 588. This was done in 2019, so I'm guessing this is when my client bought it, and he's basically been paying like interest only. And so that makes sense where the payoff was 585. So there's that one, which that's the person that we are intending to pay off, and so that one will obviously go away. Certificate of creation, road stuff, so, road slash HOA stuff, roads to road HOA. Okay, here we go. Line of credit, deed of trust. Now I'm noticing a couple of names executed by Troy Domina, and then over here we have this all-inclusive. So those who don't know what an all-inclusive trust deed is, just really quickly here, I'm going to move this over here so when I'm talking to you guys, it doesn't look like I'm talking to you guys over there. So when there is an underlying mortgage that exists on the house, and somebody sells said house with that mortgage in place, oftentimes, in fact, we think we talked about this last week, like you could do an all-inclusive trust deed, you could do a contract for deed. Those are really the two options in my, I mean, you could do the trust method that we're not going to talk about that though, because there's no like precedent, there's no law, right? Yeah, I don't like it. If you've ever heard of the trust method where you put the house in a trust and you sell the trust on seller financing, but public record, yeah, like there's foreclosure laws, yeah, there's just so many variables. I don't like it personally. Does it work? Yes. Anywho, so this had a mortgage, looks like two actually, had a deed of trust for $480,000 that started back in 2007. So we can probably guess that, let's see, I'm not a head math person, 18 years? Yeah, something like that. 18 years passed. So I would guess that this 480 has amortized way down. Um, and so the balance is fairly low. And there's also a line of credit on the house. Also, it looks like they got it almost the same time, roughly. But a HELOC, they have a HELOC on the house for 80,000. And so who knows what the balance of that could be? It could be 80,000, it could be zero, it could be, anything in between. But Troy and Lonnie sold the house to my client. Now, this is the first thing I see is I saw their real estate purchase contract. It actually said contract for deed, but now I'm seeing they actually didn't buy a contract for deed. So they actually bought it with an all-inclusive trust deed. And so these two mortgages are wrapped into the all-inclusive trust deed, essentially. And I'm guessing, let's see, because this was 2019, and then this one amended to 2022, so like 3 years later. Interesting. I wonder, there's probably a story here. Part of me is like, I wonder what happened. And part of me is like, well, first of all, 480,000, I hope the balance of that original trust deed was lower than the 480,000, or sorry, the original trust deed and the HELOC. I hope, because that could be like right off the bat, like this would be a red flag to me if it just said 480,000 here, 80,000 here, and then this 480 was left. I'd be like, all right, I want statements. Send me statements of the underlying and send me statements of the HELOC. Because there's a chance that the seller, so Roy, let's see, Troy owes more money to the bank than my client owes Troy, essentially. So that could be a risk. Never do that, by the way. It's like illegal to owe more money to the bank than your buyer owes you on seller financing. Basically, you're upside down. Big mess. All right, let's keep scrolling. I'm guessing this is going to be the end of them though. So let's see, masters, probably HOA stuff, amendment, yeah, HOA stuff, HOA stuff, HOA stuff, HOA stuff, development agreements. Cool. So yeah, other than those two liens, it looks pretty clean. Taxes always show on your property as a lien. on these. They're saying that 2025, let's see, 20 taxes were paid for 2024. I like to see that. 2025 are now a lien but not yet payable. So taxes are current essentially. So I just saw one that they owe like years of taxes because they haven't been paid, and that will show up on these title reports, the title commitments. So yeah, looks clean. Um, I'm gonna guess that the balance of these two deeds, trust deeds, I should say, is gonna be lower than the 585, and so no issues there. And I'm curious the story. Why did it go from 480 to 580? Was it because they changed something? Changed something? I'm not sure, but I'll get the story. But regardless, values there. Even on, let's even say this house appraised for like 850 on the low. Like I couldn't even find a single comp that sold for less than 850. And when I pulled this one, so I'm just like, yeah, dude, even at 850, we are golden to do this deal. So cool. Anyway, there's a title report. Scroll directly to exceptions and then go to the bottom of exceptions. And I always just start from the bottom to get it done fast because I look at, oh man, I look at a lot of these. So anywho, let's see. I think I saw a comment. Whoa, how do I stop share? Did somebody have questions? Let's see. Oh, Gil says you have to. Yes. So anyway, so that's what we got cooking. We'll probably now that I've seen that, I'm comfortable to go ahead and go under contract and buy this, which kind of backwards actually. Typically, when you're buying this, the order of operations is you put a contract on the property first, and then you go tell the title company to get going on this. But in this nature, the nature of this deal is that these guys are like begging me for help. I basically just said, well, before we like get going down this rabbit hole, I just want to make sure there's no red flags. And so that was the premise. And I even set that up with my title company. Because title companies will do stuff like this for you. But let's say this deal fell through, the title company just built this title report. Typically, to go to a title company and say, "Hey, will you just build me a title report?" It's like $450. And they just did this for free for me because in their mind they're like, "Oh, well, Daine's going to close this." And so it's built in. So yeah, don't just go have title companies do title report upon title report upon title report because you'll burn a relationship if you don't close them. However, what you can do is ask for what's called an abstract of title. Write that one down. Abstract of title. If you're like trying to do kind of like what I was doing, trying to get like a kind of a preliminary, like, hey, I just want to see what's cooking on title on this property, then you can call up a title company and your favorite title officer and say, hey, will you give me an abstract of title? That takes literally 4 seconds. I mean, basically as fast as the title officer can type it into their software to pull the abstract, and they can just screenshot it and send it to you. Or sometimes some counties, and every county is different, but some counties will just let you do a PDF download to grab that abstract. Obviously, you have to know how to read those, but takes 4 seconds and it's free. So anyway, for whatever that's worth, as you're looking at stuff, can pull all that kind of stuff. Or Renatus iOS. Renatus iOS has a form. I wouldn't call it a true abstract, but it has, let's call it a watered down version. Renatus iOS has a watered down version of pulling an abstract. And so, like I say, it's sometimes out of date. It's sometimes a little more vague than an abstract is going to be, but it can at least give you a start to say, yeah, let me look at this one before we get going. And
So, Dane, can you show that, where that is?
yes, I don't think I have a Renatus iOS login anymore. Let me
Oh,
look.
I think you do because you did the you did the one-time purchase because they were doing a promo where you could do a subscription or a one-time purchase. And I think you and I got in on that one-time deal.
I don't remember. Let's find out.
Renatusios.com. Yeah,
Oh
it
yeah,
gives.
it's not gonna let me log in. Do you have one, Michael?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
I have not tried it in quite a while.
You might be able to reset your password.
Yeah, I might just have to call somebody. But yeah, Michael, if you wanna, in fact, let's look up this property actually, um, on Renatus iOS if you want to,
Yeah.
and let's see what matches. Poor man title search is what we call it in Texas. Yeah, exactly. Free takes 5 seconds.
Okie dokie.
All right.
What are we looking for here?
So let's see. I think if you just go to home, or yeah, and we want to do a new property. Let's see.
Go to property leads.
If I remember right. And
Where would you like to invest?
it might even be just the plus button up top.
Yeah,
Yeah, which
usually when I just look in there, I usually just go to the property history. That's really
Oh,
all,
there you
you
go.
know,
Okay, yeah.
unless that's the
All right.
that's the one that you're talking about.
So 14972
that's out there.
winged. So Winged, bluff, 2 words, lane in Draper. Hmm. And this might just be searching like your lead. So maybe go to the plus button up top there. There's like a little tiny circle. I think it's kind of towards the right, like 2/3 across the right. Right, just up from there, right next to where it says Renatus iOS AI. There we go. All right, so let's see, 14972 winged bluff, and it should autofill. Because if you let it autofill, sometimes it'll find it like direct, like the property. Oh, it looks like it found it, possibly. And then, so on the sub menu, let's see, does it like it? Yeah, I think we got it. So in the sub menu, on the one that says, I think it's public info, if I remember right. It's been a minute.
But yeah, it didn't autofill, and so I think it's like
Yeah,
trying.
so let's go back to let's see if we can figure out how to get it to autofill. So go back to that plus button up on top.
No, that's not it. That is not it.
Because I remember that screen. That used to be the one that it would do. So let's maybe let it think. Let's try it again, Michael, and go. So hit that plus button and do new property. And just let's start trying to let's try to get it to autofill something. So 14972 winged bluff, and then do LN for lane, comma.
Yeah,
Drape.
I don't think I'm in the right place for this.
Yeah, weird. It used to autofill this for me.
Is it going to be in Deal Analyzer?
Gosh, I swear.
Maybe leave the lane part off completely.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to figure out how to get it to start um, autofilling. And like I say, Renatus iOS has most properties, and even, oh, there we go. So it's trying to autofill.
Yeah.
So it just might not have this one. And you know what might be confusing on this one is this is technically in Utah County. It is literally barely past the border of Salt Lake County. And so that could be why Renatus iOS is confused, because very few houses are on the Utah County side in this little neighborhood. Yeah, bummer. But yeah, I mean, we could either pull up another one
Try just
yeah.
winged.
Yeah, darn it. Oh well.
How strange. Oh, you're saying no Draper and just put in Winged Bluff.
Yeah, well, put in the address numbers and then winged and see if it picks up the bluff.
Also,
Yeah,
what
here.
on earth is a Winged Bluff?
I have no idea.
Some of the Utah
let's see.
locales will only have the
14972.
street number. They won't have the named street.
It's not
So they
wind.
might have a number instead of Winged Bluff. They might have like the cross street.
Ooh, so put south 14972S
Oh, yeah.
winged.
That was it.
There it is.
S.
Folks.
Hallelujah.
Praise
Cool.
God.
So there's like the thing, you have to have it exactly.
Attention to detail.
It is very fussy. I've discovered that.
And so yeah, I've had to mess with. So let's see, does it let you let's see, add to my leads maybe?
Okay, then we'll go into property oversight, built in 07, 2,600 square feet. 4-bed, 3-bath. Yeah, Utah County, Draper, lot size, 1/3 of an acre. How cute. Last sale, 600,000. Mortgage 480, mortgage estimated balance 422, loan to value 47%. Assessed market value 900.
Cool, yeah, so guaranteed more.
Unfinished basement.
Yes, and they
Decent-sized
finished it.
garage.
They actually finished it.
Oh, okay.
Look
Because
at
yeah,
the
I noticed
kitchen
at the
down there.
top it was on one of the things it said as a 5-bedroom.
So now go to transactions, and I think that's going to be where we're going to get our effective abstract. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Here we
Yep.
go.
This is the abstract of abstracts.
So it has, oh, so it doesn't have the all-inclusive, looks like, as far as I can tell.
I see the 480 and I see the 80.
Oh yeah, there you go. So there's the HELOC. It refinanced in 2012 for 360. Interesting.
Right, but maybe this 360 just paid off Greenpoint's mortgage and they left
Oh
the
yeah,
HELOC.
interesting.
Well, no, because it changed names.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about. Carl Debbie, because that didn't even show up on the.
Oh, they
You go to
probably
the property.
Carl and Debbie
the
probably
it
didn't
changed hands.
execute because look at the seller up here. It's still
Mm-hmm.
Amina from down here.
Yeah, very interesting. Standalone mortgage. Yeah, so essentially this could be a little bit confusing if you were only looking at this instead of either a full abstract or a true title report. Interesting.
Okay, that's what I look at that one, Dane. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing
Mhm.
anything looking at that iOS. Thank you.
Yeah, very interesting. But yeah, so like I say, this is like the freer of free. You know, if you've got your Renatus iOS account, you go look at this and say, yep, everything looks good. You'll still get a title report to make sure that everything is good. But quick and easy way to say, oh, could there be some equity here? And so easy to, in fact, I like how Renatus iOS has updated where they've tried to actually kind of do a title report instead of just the abstract where they said 480 on the top there. Because that's basically what the title report said. The title report said the there's the $480,000. Actually, there's a 480 plus an 80, which is the HELOC. So, but they were at least there. So, but yeah, looking at title, because chain of title is king. Oh, is absolutely king. I just had a property where there's first position and second position, and then equity partners, and they haven't quite sold it, but essentially, chain of title essentially says that whoever gets paid, or sorry, first position gets paid first, and then second position gets paid whatever's left, and then equity partners gets paid whatever's left over out of that. And I just happen to know by looking at the values, like, I'm pretty sure the first position's only one getting paid on this one.
Yeah.
And so knowing what you're getting into, seller
Um,
financing is not just plain and simply the bee's knees. Like, you could buy something on seller. In fact, you know what? I've got another one that, oh, this one's an absolute mess. But this person on the same house has, if I were to guess, something along the lines of like $800,000 of liens on this house because of judgments against them, which you would only see that in a title report. And so even if you, let's say, I bet you the underlying mortgage on this one is probably like 3%, 4%, like very, very good interest. And so somebody could be like, yeah, look, 3%, I'll seller finance it to you. But then you inherit, like the underlying mortgage is probably only, yeah, beautiful. I bet you the underlying mortgage is only like, let's see, 300,000. The house is worth 500,000. But then all these judgments bring her to $800,000 of debt on this one house. And so big mess.
Yeah, it's called a whoops.
Yeah.
And it could
So,
potentially be a hot potato because if you aren't paying attention, they're just going to pass that garbage on to you, which is why you need to do title reports and watch your darn classes. Get
yeah, if
obsessed.
you're ever lending, like if you're lending money to people, like the title report is arguably, let's just say equally as important to you. Especially like the one that I hear the worst stories is when somebody already owns the house and they're trying to get more money to like finish it off. Like, oh, we just need 20 more thousand to finish it off. Like that's especially anybody on here that's ever gonna lend money ever. If you ever get approached for that kind of a deal, like, yeah, we already own the house, we're almost done. If you can lend us $20,000 to finish the deal, I mean, we'll give you $30,000 back. Like, it probably looks sexy, sounds sexy, but get that title report because then you'll see chain of title and be like, whoa, I'm in like third, fourth, fifth position or something like that. There's
Can I
contractors liens.
speak to that?
Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah. So, just if anybody isn't speaking from experience, you don't try to save face with your primary lenders. Talk with them because they're the ones that are in the biggest interest in wanting to finish the property. If they're trying to pretend that things are going out good and there's successful stuff, don't go to them. Be vulnerable. Be open and say, "Hey, here's where we're at. We are stuck where we are. I want to get your money back, but I can't. Can you bring in? You do a capital call. Bring in more money, please, so we can finish this. If not, then you're going to lose. It's going to go. You have to foreclose. You have to take it from me. We're going to tough spot. I want to avoid that.
Mhm.
We're really close to finishing, and this is what it looks like. Let's move forward. And so it's better to bring in, like, keep the same money partners. Don't raise new money. Just use the same time lenders and ask them for help to close. Let them know what the situation looks like.
Mhm.
Because even if they understand, like, okay, I'm actually not going to get back what I was hoping. I'm not making the rate I'm hoping to make. You know what? I'm happy to get my money back. And so
Totally.
I'm sure they'll be happy to extra 20
Mhm. Yeah, and I've been asked for stuff like
to make
that,
it work.
where somebody will come to me and say, "Hey, we're almost done," and let's say I'm first position lender. They're like, "Yeah, we're almost done, and we need another some odd thousand." And so basically, I just increase my first position note by, like Tim's saying, by so $20,000, whatever. And
It's so much better than
yeah,
bringing in a third or a fourth party. They bring in 20K and you say, hey, you know the 20K? Well, it's now 10K. So here you go. You know,
yeah,
Yep, I hope
yeah,
everybody heard that. That is very, very wise.
totally.
Yes, it's a great
Uh,
idea. So, Dane, what do you do? Do you just do um addendum for it to, like, to change the amount to the
yeah,
original contract when you do
yeah.
that?
You just do an addendum or a
Mm.
modification essentially, and say like, "Hey, we're going to do a draw. We're going to do a increase of loan kind of a thing."
Mm,
And
okay. All right.
and so yeah, so effectively it doesn't create any new trust deeds. Let's say I lent
Right.
somebody $100,000 and they need 20,000 more. I basically just change the balance from my $100,000 trust deed to 120.
Right. So it's really like a modification because you're
Yeah,
just, modifying the amount. Okay.
correct.
Great
Yep,
idea. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
absolutely.
Yeah. And on top of that, too, if you're going to be raising more funds, when the property is kind of in a situation, you could be um, presenting fraud. Like you could be setting yourself up to be, let's see,
Yeah, like
uh,
you
fraud.
could
Yeah.
you could get accused of running like a Ponzi scheme, I think is where Tim's going.
Well, yeah, either that or you're raising funds based on false information.
Hmm.
And so people could say, hey, you said this is what it is, but it ended up like this. Like, and they, I mean, you could set yourself up for litigation because you, like, of course they need to do your due diligence, but you basically, um, uh, yeah, yeah. So if you need funds for a project because you can't finish it, and you know what your numbers look like, but you fudge the numbers in order to get the money. Because uh, it's better to be, it's better to be 100% open to all your current investors and raise from them. Because I don't feel good in raising money if I need more money, and if I have to like say, hey, well, let's say this, I'm gonna make 700. I'm supposed to make 700, but let's say it's 720. Let's raise the ARV to 720 and so that I can make it look like it's doing better than it actually is. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
called fraud, and don't do it. So like the numbers are the numbers, and yeah, don't be a wholesaler when it comes to presenting numbers. But just don't. That's another reason why you don't want to raise funds outside of your initial lenders is what I would say.
100%. So cool. But yeah, I remember Michael, you had a lot of questions. What's cooking? What am I reading? What's or what
Yeah. Any good books that
am I seeing?
that you've been consuming?
Let's see. What's the one I was just reading? My wife introduced this one to me. It's called the let them theory. Yeah,
Oh,
the
nice.
the let them theory. Um,
I let them listen to me lecture them while I threaten them. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. But yeah, super interesting in like I'm taking it as like negotiations, like realizing that everybody, whether from children all the way to adults, people are going to do what they want to do. They're going to think what they want to think. They're going to say what they want to say. And so let them, but it's interesting because they go into the psychology behind. It's funny because if you let people, all of a sudden they are more drawn to whatever it is that you're selling. And this, again, this goes from down to children, because I think this gal is more geared towards raising children, but she really goes into the science, but even in an adult brain, you let them, they're more apt to buy what you're selling. They're more apt to follow what you're recommending because you're not forcing anything. You're not trying to prove anything, prove them wrong, if you will. You let them come to their own conclusions. And so, I mean, it's nothing we haven't heard before necessarily. This information is all over even sales books of, leading the customer, but just a very interesting psychological take, geared towards children, of course, but like I said, works really well for adults, for an adult brain. But yeah, the let them theory, super, super cool. And I like reading books with my wife, like side by side, because then we
Yeah.
can talk about it back and forth. But
All
totally.
right. Well, cool. So constantly staying in the education space, reading books, doing deals, reading title reports. It's a great way
The
to,
boring stuff.
if you're tossing and turning it you're at night and you can't sleep, just pull out a title report, start reading it, and asleep you go.
Yeah, exactly. Until you need money and you're like, yes, give me all the title. I'm going to read every title report.
Yeah.
You want to see them all, but so sexy. Yeah. Awesome.
I'll show you my title report if you show me yours.
100%. Well, I already showed you mine.
Oh boy. Does your wife know?
Oh, funny.
All right, folks. So we got a few more minutes. Let's do
And my
some
apologies. I
Q&A
do
today.
I've got a 9:30, and so I've got to wrap it up right at that time. And I've got a 10, and so I've got back to back, and we're buying a house today. Um, so yeah, I'm
Sweet.
trying to watch the email to make sure.
So Lisa, Pat, Ben, Deborah, Jenny. And it doesn't have to be on the topic we've talked about today. It could be any question.
Yeah. In fact, if you guys are cool, this title company is trying to close this. So do you guys want to see a settlement statement?
Let's do it. You're sworn to secrecy on this call, everyone.
She is like blowing up my emails. So here's the one we're buying today. Let's see. She just sent me the settlement statement right here. And I think, all right, here we go. Settlement statement. So I'm trying to think of the things that really you want to be looking for here. But yeah, purchasing 350, loan amount 323. Let me just check my database to make sure that they got that right. So really, I'm just making sure that the title company got everything correct. Yep, 323, 375. They're paying
And Daine,
taxes. Go
just to
ahead.
be clear, this settlement is on your buy side.
This is a
You've got
purchase, yeah.
you've got an owner that wants to buy this house, and you're buying it first.
This one is a hard money loan. So the person that's buying this is borrowing $323,000 from myself to purchase it at 350. And she's going to fix this house up, make it nice, and refinance it, excuse me, refinance me out and keep it. And so I'm just going to be a lender on this one is all. But yeah, so title report, title insurance, settlement fee. Wow, she charges a lot. Most of the time I see like 300. It's just neither here nor there. Let's see, homeowners insurance. She's already paid. So I like to see that I'm covered in my insurance, or sorry, her insurance covers me, and so that's already been paid. I did get a receipt already, but oh, and then she's borrowing money from an individual that's bringing $90,000, and so in fact this is really good. Actually, yeah, this is really good for the topic that we've been talking about. So notice here, balance due to borrower, 58,000. And so this gal that I'm lending money to is actually getting paid $58,000 to buy this house today. The title company will send her a wire transfer or a check for 58,000 because I'm lending 323 and somebody else is bringing 90. And when they first told me about this, because I always ask, just because I want to protect this person that's bringing the 90. And so just to protect their interest, I guess I'll shut that down. But so the person that's bringing the 90, she said, oh, they're going to be a equity partner or joint venture. And I know a lot of you guys have heard me say like, I'm not really a huge fan of joint ventures because that person is nowhere near title. I've heard stories, thankfully I've never been involved in one of these, but I've heard stories of people that joint ventured into a deal. The owner, the person that was doing the deal was on title. The joint venture person was not. The person doing the deal on title, they had a couple of disagreements, this and that, whatever. The person on title sold the house, took the money because the person that brought let's just use our example. The person that brought 90 grand didn't receive one penny from when the house sold, and that person was long gone by the time they even knew what hit them. By the time they even knew what was happening, they were long gone. And so I told, when this gal told me, hey, I'm going to do a joint venture, I asked her, and I just do this for everybody because I like to watch out for people. When I'm doing deals like this, like I want to watch out for everybody involved as best I can. And so I asked her, oh, like, how are you going to put her on title? And she was like, I didn't know that was a thing. So, I'm not sure if this person's even a student. Nowadays, it's like, it's a pretty good mix. I've got a lot of people who are not students that borrow from me, and I've got a lot of people who are. But anyway, and I'll get to that, Steve. But yeah, so I asked her, how are you going to put her on title, or this person on title? And she's like, I don't know that was the thing. I said, well, here's how you can do it. And I break it down and say, so you can do the joint venture, but if you do the joint venture, at least do a notice of interest. So that way that person's name is at least attached to title that says they have an interest in this house. And I told her, like, if you do the notice of interest, like, they can't foreclose on you. If you do the notice of interest, like, they can't really make any demands of you until one scenario, and it's when you're going to change anything up on title, and that's it. And so this person will protect themselves because of that notice of interest. This person couldn't sell the house without the notice of interest being satisfied, meaning if they go, let's say they go try to sell the house and they're trying to like keep it a secret from this person, the title company is going to see the notice of interest on the title report, by the way. In fact, I just got a title report like yesterday, from something that somebody had placed a notice of interest on it, like back in 2019 or something like that, like 6 years ago. And that notice of interest is still there. And in order to close this deal, that notice of interest has to be removed, which means it spurs a conversation. All wealth is built through conversation. Notice of interest forces conversations. Anyway, so yeah, you can't foreclose, you can't make any demand, but basically when they want to change title, oh, you know what else? So because the joint venture nature, if somebody just did a joint venture, and let's say this person's like, oh crap, we need another $20,000. If that joint venture did not have a notice of interest, then the person would be able to go get another lien. Or go get it, like, let's say they want to borrow another 20,000, and all of a sudden they borrow 20,000 from somebody else. That person takes second position. The joint venture person just got bumped back to third position without them even knowing about this. Like risky stuff, right? And so that notice of interest will make it so that this person cannot go and get another loan, place that person in second position, and bump the joint venture person back. The notice of interest basically gets secured effectively like second position. But But anyway, so that's what they chose. So joint venture, notice of interest, or like Steve said, you could go build an LLC and say, all right, we're 50-50 partners or whatever, pick a number. We're 50-50 partners, we're 60-40 partners, 70-30, whatever, pick a number. And then both people have to sign for everything. They have to sign for more liens, they have to sign to sell, they have to sign to refinance. Both parties have to sign everything to change anything with that house title-wise, to sell, refinance, all that kind of stuff, borrow more money. You could do tenants in common. Do a little Googling for yourself and just go Google the difference between joint tenants and tenants in common. The way I remember it is joint tenants would be more like a marriage, where if one spouse passes away, they are so like what you would do jointly. Joint tenants is what you do jointly in a marriage. If one spouse passes away, the other spouse owns the house 100%. Tenants in common means that you can say, oh, we're 50-50 owners, and both of us show up on title. It'd be very similar to setting up an LLC, but you're just directly on title. In fact, the tenants in common is actually, for, again, just opinion of Daine, is more, I prefer tenants in common more than LLC with joint ventureship or partnership. Because you can say, okay, party one is a 30%, tenants in common, you can do percentages, 30% owner, 70% owner. And joint tenants is not, you can't do that. Tenants in common, you can divvy up percentages of who owns what and how much. And if one of the partners passes away, then that, let's say there's 70-30 partnership, the 70% partner passes away, they pass their 70% ownership to their heirs at the end of the day. And so it's not just, so again, that's why I like tenants in common for partnership purposes better. And same thing, everybody has to sign. Everybody has to sign every little document to borrow more money, to sell it, to refinance to change title in any way. Everybody has to sign. So yeah, tenants in common, setting up an LLC. You could put them on a trust deed and say, hey, you'll be a second position lender and we'll secure your spot, whatever. But yeah. And so she chose to just say, let's do a joint venture and we'll do a notice of interest. Very, very simple. Go ahead.
I've got a project in Florida, and I was wondering if I could get some advice.
Sure.
I'm pending. It's a waterfront property, hurricane, it's distressed. And I have to make a decision today if I'm going to go forward with it. So
Okay.
I'm really, really struggling because I'm still under the inspection period. We did the inspection, it needs a lot of work. It was a triplex, and I'm converting it back into a single family home. It's waterfront with a pool, and it's big, 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom with a mother-in-law unit. But I'm a realtor here in Seattle, but this is Florida. The realtor that we have, she's like, oh my gosh, all day long, you can sell this for 2.5 once it's done, but it's distressed down there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So it's listed for 1.5. We're under contract for 1,225,000. It needs about $200,000 worth of work. We already have contractors lined up and stuff, but I'm just worried that I'm going to sit on the market because everyone's going to be coming on the market at the same time, basically in January.
Because everybody's.
Yep, exactly. And
the
I'm
whole
like,
neighborhood.
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a special property because it has a panoramic view. It's in a cove. And it's 2 blocks from the beach and 2 blocks from shopping, like an old town little area where everybody goes. But still, I'm kind of freaking out about that. And I wondered if anybody has any.
Yeah. So I got this straight out of the education, but somebody, I forget who said this at this point, but when you go under contract on a property, you basically look for all the reasons why you shouldn't do it.
Yep.
And right off the bat, like I can tell you, like, I mean, there's some reasons that you gave me. I mean, one, you're way out of, you're on the other side of the country. And so Do you
Well,
have
we have
like,
we have another property too that we
oh,
are
okay,
we
out
that
there?
we own that we're going to be doing. So we're going to move out there
Okay. So
during the construction.
you've got boots on the ground that you
Yep.
trust, like
Yes. Yes,
good
definitely.
relationships. Cool.
Yep.
Can you get homeowners insurance in this house?
Oh yeah, we already
Yeah.
have. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Luckily, we've already gone through the whole thing with the other house that we're doing. But it's less money, right? This is way more
Yeah.
money. The holding
Yeah.
cost is a
And
lot more. I'm
yeah,
a
big money.
realtor. Yeah, my husband is a construction manager. So he
Cool.
is, you know what I mean? So we're well versed in a lot of
So,
things, but
so that doesn't scare you then? What's
um
the thing that does scare you?
I'm worried that everything's going to come on the market at the exact same time and that we're going to sit on it for a freaking year and the
Mhm.
holding costs are going to be pretty bad. Although the
Astronomical.
profit is going to be pretty good. Even at the low end, I'm thinking, okay, 2-2.
Yeah.
We'd still be, we still got meat there, so we could hold off. But then the other thing I'm thinking is, what if because it is such a big property and it's almost every bedroom has its own bathroom, and what if I, Airbnb'd it, even though
Mhm.
there are restrictions there, of course, like everywhere else. So I'm kind of looking
Yeah.
at that. Um, just to kind of weigh it out, but but then there's $40,000 in setting the whole Airbnb thing up,
Oh my
with
gosh, yeah.
furniture and all that other stuff. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm just
So
trying, I'm freaking out, but I know that I could make a lot of money on it, but I'm freaking out.
yeah. Now, I will say that it hits all of my no boxes
Is that right?
personally.
Yeah.
Like, because I like to have stuff close to home that I have speed dial
Yeah.
every single subcontractor that I would need for, or general contractor, either one. But
Yep.
personally, I like doing the subs, where I have like literally all that stuff, the boots on the ground, I have on speed dial. Everybody,
Yeah.
connections galore. And so I personally don't do much outside of even Utah,
Mm-hmm.
or where now I live in Idaho. I live like literally on the border of Idaho and Utah, and so I'll do like the very, very southeastern parts of Idaho, but that's it. And so that's a personal preference. Like I want
Right.
it close to home,
Right.
because when you start buying bricks and sticks, in fact, I just got to share this. Like this even happened close to home, but had this happened, across the country, it would have been a lot worse. But so I foreclosed on a house. What's today? Wednesday. I foreclosed on a house on Monday. Right. I've done 400 some odd deal, or sorry, not 375 deals, I think it is now. And I can count on two fingers how many deals I have foreclosed on. And so did the second one just on Monday. Walked through, had my guys there within minutes of the foreclosure finishing, changed the locks, and found out that they actually stole the kitchen. Or there was two
Oh my
kitchens
God.
actually. They stole the kitchen probably like the week before we closed, but they were very polite criminals. They didn't break anything. They just stole all the cabinets. They stole all the appliances, everything. But they left the granite. And so,
Mm.
and so I was like, oh, you guys are so kind. Leaving at least the granite. It was
Mm-hmm.
probably $200 to $2,500 of granite. Anyway, so yesterday, we changed the locks and everything, and we were about to get cameras, because I just knew that a vacant house like this, foreclosure anyway. And so we're ordering cameras, but we didn't have them fast enough. Yesterday morning, I get another text of this, my guys that, because like I said, I got people on speed dial. They went back again on Tuesday, and they're like, hey, they broke the door down and stole the granite last night. So,
Oh, wow.
and so just like vacant houses, not close to home. Um,
Well, we're going to be living there because there's an upstairs mother-in-law unit that doesn't
okay,
really need any work. So we're going to be living there for months until both houses are
cool.
done and
Okay.
sold.
So
So,
it'll be easily, like, people will be able to be there on a daily basis.
oh yeah. Yeah,
And
and we
cool.
have crews and we've been
Good,
working on
good.
this for a
Okay,
long
cool.
time. Yeah,
Gotcha.
for the other property. Yeah,
So
I mean, Yeah, well, I don't, I'm not worried about that.
So what's
to
the
be
fear
honest.
then? No.
Well,
Other than like you said, like, do you have your now personally, I
yeah.
never like STR short-term rentals as backup plans.
Okay. So what about so the other options are I can rent it out. We could rent it
Yeah.
out. And it
Yeah, so
does
run
they
the
do
numbers. Like I had
yeah,
somebody that told me this the other day. They were like, "Oh yeah, worst case scenario, we'll just refinance it." You know, it sounds amazing. Like,
right,
but
but
oftentimes it's just lip service. And
right.
so
Okay.
actually run the numbers. Say, okay, if we refinance it, here's how much money we would have to refinance.
Yeah.
Does the loan to value make it such that I can refinance all of my money, the hard money lender's money, the
Mm-hmm.
the private money lender's money, whoever, second, everybody, is there enough loan to value potential that everybody gets their money back through just the bank? Or does somebody have to leave money in? So I was going back and forth with this person. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just rent it out if it doesn't work. And I sat this person down, and was like, look,
Yeah.
and in fact, I think it was this deal actually that I just showed you guys where there's somebody bringing
Mm.
90,000
Yeah.
where she's like, yeah, refinance. And I said, look, if you refinance at 75% LTV, which is what I recommend. Like, yes, 80% exists. Yes, 85% exists, loan to values, but they're harder to get. Interest rates
Mm-hmm.
go skyrocket, fees skyrocket. So run your numbers at 75%
Okay.
because it is like, it is the easiest loan to get in investment lending, right? Gilda, you can correct me if I'm wrong there, but um, and especially if you're paying PMI on a non-owner occupied, if you're doing 85%. Anyway, so so I told her run it at 75%, and I showed her that your $90,000 equity partner, joint venture partner, would only get 20,000 of their money back if you
Mm.
refinanced at a 75% LTV. Is your lender, is your person bringing 90,000, number one, okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
But number two, expecting it. Like, and so, um, and so we were able to go back and
Yeah.
forth and run it at 80% then and run it at 85%. And every single time my client was going to have to bring money to the table. And so, and they didn't realize that, oh yeah, to
Mm.
refinance it, like not everybody gets their money back here.
Right.
And so anyway, so we made a plan and she said, okay, like, here's the scenario and I'm okay with that. So she was basically saying, like, she said, I'll do 80%. And she knew that she could, like, she's already been pre-approved, all that kind of stuff. And so
Right.
she's like, okay, yeah, we'll do 80%. And that might mean I have to bring, I can't remember what the number was. Let's say $30,000 to the table to pay
Uh-huh.
off that person. And she's like, yeah, I've got the money. I'm okay to do that. I was like, okay, cool. Good deal then.
Yeah.
But
Right.
she thought that she thought that this was going to be like a zero down, you know.
Oh.
So run those numbers.
Okay. Good
One,
to
who
know.
gets paid back and how much and what's it going to take?
Yeah.
But secondly, what's your payment going to be? Run the interest rate and say, oh, like in her case, I think I showed her that if she did like an 85% LTV, like, yeah, she's only bringing 20,000 to the table, but she's negative cash flow, like guaranteed. And so she was like, oh, I didn't realize that. So,
Right.
so
Right.
we
Okay.
went through
Good.
that to say, okay,
Yeah.
run the actual numbers based on at least today's rates. Hopefully they go down, but don't bank on it.
Right.
Run it based on today's rates. Is everybody getting money back? And are you actually cash flowing bare bones rental, long-term tenants, like, or I should say, 1
Right.
year lease kind of thing, the bare bones cookie cutter tenant, are you at least cash flowing? And that's how I look at every deal. Worst case scenario, if everything else hits the fan, even if short-term rental is a backup plan, can you still at least bare bones rent it and cash flow?
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Another story like this, it's funny. I talk to so many people on a weekly basis, but just talked to another guy that he was like, yeah, backup plan is rent it. And so he's owned this house for many years and he ended up doing his final backup plan of renting it. And he's been negative $350 cash flow for many years. And it is finally just like eating him up because life's changing a little bit. And he's just like, all right, I got to unload this thing because he's been negative
Right.
$350 cash flow for all these years and dealing with maintenance. And
Right.
so if you're negative 350 a month and having to fix a water heater every couple of years, whatever, fix a
Mm-hmm.
leaky roof or whatever, leaky toilet, whatever, like that sucks. And so
Yeah, the only reason I was kind of looking at it was on letting the, market reset itself after, a year. But yeah, you're right. I do need to look at and I appreciate that. I
plan
need
B,
to,
plan C.
well, yeah, and
whatever.
I need to look at the refinance, and I mean, I know we just have one other partner, which is my husband's best friend, and he has money, so I mean, we'd be fine, but we need to know what that would look like.
Yeah. Run it as if you were holding it for 5 years as a bare
Okay.
bones rental. And
Yeah.
that might help you decide like, actually this is a good deal. Even if it doesn't
Yeah.
sell.
And the other thing, it's kind of scary, but the other houses they're renting for like 20,000 a month, but that's only certain months. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because of the area.
Totally.
It's during the winter months or whatever, winter and spring. So, okay. Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. So cool. My apologies. I got to get ready for my 9:30. So, but yeah, hopefully that was good stuff. We were all over the place today, but good stuff.
Absolutely. Due diligence is the key to staying safe, reading reports, connecting, running your numbers at 75, not 95 like realtors want you to. And
Yes.
and staying connected to your better future, where you're going, the self-confidence formula, how we started out this morning's call. And it's all coming together, folks. So happy to be on the journey with you. Thanks again, Daine, for another great episode. And we'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Daine.
Thank you,
Incredible
Daine.
call.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
Talk soon, guys.
This was
Thank
awesome.
you
Thank you.
all.